The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by the Handle Factory Community Clay Center, offering hands-on wheel throwing at the Green River Festival in Greenfield, June 19th and 21st. HandleFactory.com. The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by the UMass 5 College Credit Union, dedicated to creating access to financial well-being for local people, businesses, and communities. Insured by NCUA, umass5.coop.
Welcome to the Fabulous 413. I'm Khalees Smith. Later in the show, we'll explore an unusually shaped farm in North Amherst with Sisa and Elimir at Carrot Corner Farm. We'll also don our rainbows and be our authentic selves with the folks of Franklin County Pride, which happens this Saturday. And this week, we're looking at the many organizations that, much like us, have lost their federal funding as we, the community, prepare to support them this Thursday, June 11th, for 413 Gives Day. Today, we'll learn about our creative sides becoming more equitable for all with the folks of Resilient Community Arts.
Welcome back to the Fabulous 413. As you heard, last year, NEPM and public media across the country lost federal funding. But you, the community, stepped up to fill that void for us here at NEPM, and now we want to give back to other organizations that may or may not have been impacted by the loss of federal funding.
On June 11th, it's 413 Gives Day. 413 Gives supports the nonprofit organizations that care for our neighbors across Western Mass. Many of those local nonprofits have also lost the federal funding that helped them provide food, shelter, childcare, immigration support, art services, and other essential services.
And today, we're leaning into the art. We're speaking with Resilient Community Arts. Resilient Community Arts is built on the philosophy that when community members have a place to voice their experiences, to harness cultural power and amplify their stories, what is important to them, we take steps forward together towards a more just and equitable world.
RCA exists to provide an accessible, community-driven art space that fosters meaningful, independent creativity and nurtures collaborative efforts to bring marginalized identities into the center of the arts, specifically those facing economic hardship.
And with us to talk more about what they do at RCA, Resilient Community Arts, is Maddie McDougall, director and founder, and Libby Keller, the youth curriculum coordinator. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. It's so exciting to be here.
You founded this organization towards the end of quarantine.
Pretty silly, huh?
What better way to be resilient than community arts, though, during a tough time like that?
What did the pandemic experience bring out to make you want to start this then?
So I was teaching in Springfield Public Schools at the time. Something that I think we saw across sectors in the pandemic was that economic disparities were just absolutely magnified from the pandemic. And that was especially true in regards to the arts. I think even before the pandemic, something that was true was that there are so many arts, such a rich arts scene and culture that we have here in the Valley that is really not fully accessible to so many people that maybe don't have disposable income or a ride to bring their kid to an after-school program, or simply programs that they can afford, or spaces that they feel comfortable and welcome in. And so that's what we set out wanting to try to change and make a dent and move in the right direction of making sure that art is accessible for everybody.
And you're based at Eastworks in East Hampton, right?
Yes, so we have our main studio in Eastworks in East Hampton on the second floor, where we do the majority of our programming, ranging from youth, after school, and summer programs, which Libby can definitely speak more to. We also have intergenerational drop-in groups and workshop classes, collage club, and we do a lot of programming for the queer and trans community. We have a very, very popular queer trans art group that has also now had a spin-off in collaboration with Translate Gender. We have Family QTAG, or Family Queer Trans Art Group, that is for young people and their families.
I love QTAG.
Yep.
That's Maddie McDougall, director and founder of Resilient Community Arts. We're also speaking with the youth curriculum coordinator, Libby Keller. Libby, tell us about some of the other programs that you're doing there at Resilient Community Arts.
Well, when children are involved, we can just get as creative as we want. The sky's the limit. So this summer, we're having 4 really fun, full weeks of camp programming. We're doing Fiber Friends, where kids can come. Fiber Frenzy, I think actually we're calling it this summer, where it really is going to be a frenzy of kids working with all kinds of fiber arts like sewing and knitting and crochet and all kinds of fabric work. There's going to be Make It Mini, which has been a really popular theme for the last few years, where we have kids making like wedding cakes out of bottle caps. That's how creative they get. We had, I think last summer, children made like a really cool pet story in a cardboard box. That was pretty awesome. And I also cut out my tin coffee cans that I drink coffee out of all the time. When they're empty of coffee, I cut them out, and we made little houses out of those last year too, which was fun. And we're doing a fantasy week, which is fun. Kids make castles and they make potions. And then our last week this summer is Earth Art Week, which is going to be amazing, where kids have the opportunity to make art that's good for the planet and good for them. Yeah, we have some really amazing children who kind of just like our adult population come from all kinds of different identity groups, and they come into RCA, and not only do they feel safe making art, but they feel safe amongst each other and our staff. And that's a magical thing.
We also have just this past year completed our third year of after school art programming, also happening in Springfield. So we do have a second location that I think this past school year, it's really come to life as like, I really feel it confidently as a second RCA location in the south end of Springfield, working with our partners at 45 Maple Street. And something that was just situated yesterday that I'm really excited about, we are going to have a van to be able to help some of the Springfield kids attend our summer programs in East Hampton. So they're going to get to see the studio spaces there and explore that. And I'm just really excited to, we really believe in smashing the tofu curtain and these, apparent, differences or disparities between Hampshire and Hampden County. And so I'm just really excited to see more of that happen this year.
We love that too.
Yes.
That is Maddie McDougall, director and founder of Resilient Community Arts. We're also speaking with Libby Keller, youth curriculum coordinator for Resilient Community Arts, based in East Hampton and Springfield.
I think, Maddie, you said it well when you were talking about how, it's like kids' access really differs as you go from north to south in the valley. But when I'm really excited to see what's going to happen when we get kids from these different communities together in the studio, because I think it's going to unlock just even more special art making magic for them when they get to meet someone who's different from them, but who still wants to sit together and work on making such a small work of art that it fits in an Altoid tin or whatever it is they're getting up to. So it's kind of like we have this ability to provide kids the unique and special magic of art making, which has always, across human history, bridged gaps. And we have the power to be able to do that for our community. It's so special.
Well, speaking of community, NEPM has teamed up with the Community Foundations of Western Mass and Berkshire Taconic Community Foundation for this 413 Gives Day, which is Thursday, June 11th. I know that when you founded this, as Khalees mentioned, kind of during lockdown, you did a summer worth of fundraising to get this off the ground. Where does your funding come from? And have there been impacts of a lack of support from the federal government on so many different avenues, but the arts, no matter where you are, seem to be almost always the first to be hit when funding gets cut?
Yeah, so early 2025, we had secured our first ever direct federal funding. It was like a big achievement. We were so excited. We were getting $10,000 from the National Endowment for the Arts through their Challenge America program. We had that funding secured only for it to be ripped away very suddenly. And I know so many people have shared their screenshots, and we have as well. We have a public access arts advocacy folder that we've linked online and such. But so many people shared their screenshots, and it was literally an email that came at like 9:30 at night on a Friday from the federal government saying, we're taking your money. And we worked with Mass Creative Advocacy Network to go through the appeal process, which they were really helpful with guiding us through the appeal process, which I think everybody who did that knew that there was no promises, but it was a matter of advocacy to simply file the appeal, knowing that it probably wouldn't be received well. We swarmed them with the appeals, and all the appeals were denied. But I was working on my appeal letter one day in the studio, and there was, programs going on, whatever, and a kid asked me what I was doing. And I had to explain to them, this is like a 10-year-old, I had to explain to them, well, Trump took our money, and we need to do what we can to ask other people for help so that we could keep the studio going. So long story short, we did lose a significant portion of funding through those federal losses. And for such a small organization, that $10,000 grant was about 10% of our budget, of our annual budget. So that was a massive hit. And we had great saving graces come through from the Andy Warhol Foundation, actually picked up any of the visual arts projects that were dropped by the NEA. So the Andy Warhol and Helen Frankenthaler foundations teamed up to pay out those grants, no strings attached. Their mission with that funding was really just to make sure that these community art spaces could stay open, which was really wonderful. I believe it was the Americans for the Arts also had a relief fund that supported us as many other groups. But I think even beyond those resilience fundings, which we are resilient community arts, so getting these opportunities and fundings that were also like in the name of resiliency, I think is so important, because we are really explicit with defining resilience for ourselves as not just like continuing to keep going. It's about changing. It's about adapting and pivoting and doing something different so that we can adapt and grow and thrive into a new possibility. So I think we really are still here because of those funds that we were able to receive. And we're still facing issues that even as everything is getting more expensive, we are struggling to keep things affordable, because we believe that we're not going to do something if it's not accessible. If it's not reachable for everyone, we don't want to do it, because we're here to make things reachable for everybody. And it's just so important for folks with donor advised funds, with disposable income, to step up and fill these gaps to keep these things going in our valley that makes it so special.
How do you fundraise during the rest of the year outside of like grant season, shall we say?
Yeah. Libby, do you want to talk a little bit about some of the special events we've done?
Yeah, we are try to get as creative with our fundraisers as we do with everything else we do. So we try to make it fun when we can. And in the past
Putting the fun in fundraising.
Yeah, we try to do that here too.
Because fundraising, I mean, we're a bunch of community artists, and Maddie and I are both public school teachers. So it's, we keep ourselves really busy trying to do both. And if we didn't have a little fun along the way, we wouldn't be able to do it. So we've been throwing really cool, kind of like big fundraising parties. We've been calling them the Ball for Alls. And so we've thrown 2 of those now. And for all, obviously, is really important. We keep saying, we wouldn't do it if it wasn't accessible for people in our community. So the first one we threw at Progression Brewing in Northampton, and that was super fun. And last year we did a Halloween themed Ball for All at the City Space is it called City Space? Yeah, in East
City
Hampton.
Space, the Blue Room at City Space in East Hampton.
Yeah, and that was amazing. We had drag performers who came and performed for us. They brought the house down. We had all kinds of beautiful food. We had a raffle with a lot of wonderful organizations in our valley contributing really good raffle prizes. So those were both really wonderful fundraisers. But we also do little one-off things whenever we can. A couple months ago, I did a trinket swap, which was amazing. And I asked for folks to contribute $5 at the door. And then they came in with piles of trinkets. And you should have seen the trading that happened. It was like, I'll give you this flying pig for your plastic, I don't know, little chicken. It's just awesome. And it was so intergenerational. There were like, people who had made jewelry and had all their extra beads trading with someone who was a 4th grader. And everyone had equal amounts of fun and paid $5 toward a really good cause. So, our fundraisers are always just like we are, which is creative and interesting and making it work.
You both teach in public school. Are you seeing changes on that end of arts education? Because what you do is arts education also. But like if you're teaching it in a public system, in an institutional system, that's different. And we constantly see attacks going to the arts and programs being cut.
Yeah, my day job is teaching art in Springfield Public Schools. And I will say that Springfield is very lucky having wonderful advocates at the top with our superintendent here, making sure that arts and musics are well funded here and secure. Our arts director in Springfield is working to make sure that there is music and or art in every single school in Springfield. So that's really wonderful. But I have a unique perspective because I also know East Hampton and Northampton public schools fairly well through our community partnerships that we've worked with RCA. And I do know that East Hampton has a big vote on June 9th, and the arts are most certainly on the line there. And voting no on that would mean no more arts in East Hampton public schools, period. The funding that supports the art club being there present in the school is certainly in danger right now.
Well, we're having this conversation in light of 413 Gives Day, our inaugural attempt at trying to shine a light on some of the nonprofit organizations that are doing great work in the area in which we live, specifically this year on the ones who lost federal funding. We're very sorry. On behalf of the United States government, I apologize to you for your loss.
Not your fault.
He says this like we didn't also lose our federal
It's true. We should hoist with our own petard.
There is, to that, I will say there is a kind of like cool, like very unique camaraderie that's come out of this with other cultural leaders and nonprofit leaders that, we're going through it and we're going through it together. And when we find people who, have the same beliefs as us and imagining a better world for us all, that's what keeps us going, is finding other people who believe in the mission.
We are here in Western Mass a resilient community, and you are Resilient Community Arts, maintaining the great work that you're doing throughout these hard times. And with the support of the community, you could go right now and donate on the big green button at resilientcommunityarts.org, and or you can go to nepm.org/413gives and make a contribution through the community foundations that is supporting the resiliency funds that is trying to be there to meet these needs for all sorts of different types of organizations in the 4 counties of Western Mass.
And you can see all of the classes that they're offering at both the Maple Street and Springfield location and the Eastworks location as well.
Maddie McDougall, Director and Founder of Resilient Community Arts. Libby Keller, Youth Curriculum Coordinator, Resilient Community Arts. Thank you so much for talking with us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Is there still space in your summer studio?
Oh, yes. Yeah, please come.
And if you live in East Hampton, that vote they mentioned about the override, oh, hey, that's happening today. Right now, you've got until about 8 o'clock this evening to go and make your voice heard. Franklin County Pride happens this weekend, and we'll sit with their team to see how we are still here and still celebrating in downtown Greenfield on June 13th. But first, a journey from a boat to the land is at the root of Carrot Corner Farm, and we'll find out more with farmer Ellie Mayor. You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM.
The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by Berkshire Choral International, performing British Mavericks, choral orchestral works by Britton and Smith, June 27th at the UMass Fine Arts Center, berkshirechoral.org. The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by Visiting Angels West Springfield, providing home care for seniors and veterans in Hampden County, including Angel Care, short-term post-surgery support for seniors and their loved ones. visitingangels.com/West Springfield.
Time for another local hero spotlight with Claire Morneau of CISA. We are in a really weirdly shaped parcel of land in North Amherst. We're technically in North Amherst, right?
We are, yeah.
At a new-ish farm because you only started like right around the pandemic. But what's your name and what's this farm?
I'm Ellie Mayer, and with my wife Linda, we started Carrot Corner Farm during the pandemic, named after the shape of our land, so it is weirdly shaped, yes.
Does kind of look like a carrot in traditional New England fashion of just like throwing the lines where they may and figuring it out from there. But I was reading about this, and this land has actually been divided a lot over the years. It was originally a farm like ages ago.
Yeah, so the original house is kind of on the radio. You can't see it, but over in the corner there's like a 1700s old house. And then the house in front of us, it used to be an inn in the 1800s. It was one of the original inns in the area. And this whole big parcel, almost down to the railroad tracks, was, I think, a dairy farm at one point, and slowly got cut up into houses. And this is just about the last remaining parcel from that big farm. And we came out looking for a piece of land, and luckily it was before the pandemic, so the prices hadn't shot up yet, and we could afford it. And this was perfect. It was in town, but farmable, and snapped it up. Yeah.
I feel like we should also mention that you came to this land from the sea.
Yes.
You lived on a boat in the Boston area. What put your family on the boat?
It sounded fun. That was basically it, yeah. Didn't have any experience with sailing or anything, and we went for it. And then my wife swore she wasn't going to live there with kids, but there we were. And when we looked around, there were actually a decent number of kids. There was a really nice liveaboard community, and the kids would run down the docks to find their friends, but there were no teenagers. So as our kids started getting older, we realized we were going to have to find another adventure, and this is our next adventure.
I like that. I was going to say, it seems like living on a boat versus farming are almost opposites somehow, but maybe not. They're both kind of big adventures.
They are, yeah. And things we didn't know anything about when we started, so.
Yeah.
That was going to be my next question. Thank you for answering it in advance. So neither you nor your partner Linda had previous experience farming before you decided to buy a parcel of farmland.
Nope, that's learning, but no real learning. A few gardens in both of our lives, but yeah.
And we are at Carrot Corner Farm in North Amherst with Ellie and Claire Morneau of CISA. So you bought this parcel right before the pandemic, but started the farm during the pandemic.
Yeah, living in 150 square foot in a boat in Boston, when the playground shut down and you have 2 young kids, it seemed like a good idea to just go camp out on 6 acres and have some room. So that's what we did, yeah. And then we jumped into building our house, which we also had never done anything like that before. So we were living out here in a tent and building our house and starting the farm during the pandemic. But it was nice, actually. It meant we had a lot of people coming by, people coming with tractors and electrician, and we got to be really good friends with a carpenter that was helping us out a bunch, and it ended up being a really good pandemic experience for us.
Tell us about your farm now. What does it look like a couple years in?
Yeah, this is now our 5th or 6th year. We have, a little under an acre if you add it all up, I think. We're trying to grow for our neighbors, basically, so we've put a farm stand out on the road, and we do have a lot of neighbors that come by, and we go down to the Amherst Farmers Market, which is one of the really nicest farmers markets in the area. We have a table there. I encourage everyone to come down and see all the vendors there on Saturday mornings. We basically grow a variety of different, mostly vegetables, but some fruits as well. Strawberries are about to come out, but also a lot of tomatoes and lettuce and some herbs and potatoes. We try carrots. Carrots, it turns out we would never named our farm Carrot Corner if we knew how hard they were to grow, but we get some.
I think I'm looking at a peach tree, if I'm not mistaken.
You are. The peaches are the only things that the deer don't eat as far as trees. So before we had this fence, the peach tree survived and all the others got munched to the nub. We just put the fence up this spring, so we'll see if we're more successful with a fence than without. So far, the orchard is just for us. Hopefully we'll get enough that we can start giving our neighbors some peaches and apples and stuff too, but we'll see. Trees take a while.
Tell us about your growing practices.
So we try to use no-till for the most part. We're not certified organic, but we try to use organic practices and buy organic seeds, and we almost never spray anything. We're small enough that a lot of times we can get the bugs by hand. I think a lot of organic farms do this. Your crops get eaten and you plant again because there's not a lot you can do without all of the chemical sprays. We do our best. And it works, we do get quite a bit of food out of a little bit of land, so.
It's a good reminder that even if your local farm isn't necessarily certified organic, they're probably engaging with organic practices. You're still better off getting something from a local farm than your supermarket coming from further and further away where you can't be sure that that's happening, or that the organic practices in a certain state are the same as other practices in
other places, you're still better off just getting stuff locally.
Certification is not only costs money, but it costs a lot of time. You have to document everything, and for a small farm, that's a real burden. So a lot of them aren't documented certified organic, but when we all chat, and they're all trying to use good practices that are good for the land, and you're getting stuff that was picked that morning often when you're getting it at our stand or at the market. So you can taste the difference as well as know that there's a difference.
That's true. We're at Carrot Corner Farm here in North Amherst. What's been one of the biggest learning curves for you as a new farmer?
Well, it's always a surprise that stuff actually comes up and you get to eat it. I mean, it's not something that I just naturally expect that is going to happen. So
I understand that. I started things from seed for the first time this year, and my okra just came up. I'm like, oh no, these okra seeds are dead. I'm the saddest, and I just got like one sprout this morning.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah, so it's kind of incredible that you put these little seeds in the ground and you get to eat. And it's not a surprise, but it's a ton of work.
Yes, farming is a lot of work for very little reward, even though it rewards everybody.
That's a good line. Yeah. You said you built a brand new greenhouse. This is the most boat-like greenhouse I've ever seen.
Yeah, isn't it cool that it came out that way?
Yes.
So
you can only get so far away from the sea.
Yes.
We worked with a guy, Ben Goldberg, that he builds composting toilets and greenhouses. That's his shtick. And he had a friend who's a professional greenhouse builder that just has junkyards full of old greenhouse parts. So a lot of the parts come off of these old Gothic greenhouses like you see at some of the colleges in the area.
Cool.
That he had torn apart, and they ended up coming out in this sort of boat-like shape. Yeah. It came out, we really love it. It came out really cool. And we also put underground, we put what's called a climate battery. So if you come in, you can probably almost hear it on the microphone. If we go in, there's air when it gets hot in the summer. This is our first summer running it, so we don't know if it works, but it's supposed to pump air down through a whole bunch of tubes under the ground, and it heats up all the ground underneath. And then in the fall, supposedly we'll be able to run air through there and heat the air and heat our greenhouse using that stored summer energy.
Cool. Yeah, this is the second time I've seen one of those, and the other people that I know have one are in the Berkshires, and they say it works. So like, congratulations, that's really awesome. Can we go inside the greenhouse?
Sure,
because
yeah, come on in.
now I'm super curious, especially about this process and seeing it in person, and it is genuinely the coolest thing. It's just like a thermal battery you put in the ground underneath your greenhouse to allow you more growing time and space.
Yeah, so you can't see much, but you can see this long tube up in the corner of the greenhouse. It's a 14-inch, I think it's what they use to build sewer lines or something like that. We bought it over in Hatfield. And that goes down, and then along the edge, 4 foot down here, you can't see it, there's a slightly smaller tube that's called a collector. And then out of that, there's a bunch of little 4-inch fabric covered tubes that I think get used by landscapers to put water and stuff underneath lawns. And so we have about 25 or 30 of those running the length of the greenhouse at different levels. And then in the other corner here, kind of the opposite corner, there's a smaller tube sticking up, and you can put your hand over it and you can feel the air coming out, and that's coming through underground.
And that's awesome, because the air coming out of it right now is cool.
Yeah, it's not super
cooler,
hot.
yeah. So it drops, when I've tested it, it drops the temperature in here 5 to 10 degrees in the heat. Even with screen doors and vents open and stuff, it still makes a bit of a difference.
Is your farm stand self-service?
It is
Just
self-service,
open
yeah. It's just
daylight
open.
hours, something like that?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have a door on it yet, so I guess you could come at night too. The squirrels also can come at night. Yes, come back in July. There'll be a lot of good stuff, or even late June. We should have a lot of snap peas and some other early stuff. So.
And which farmers markets can they find Carrot Corner vegetables? And starts currently, but not for much longer, because you should have started those plants by now.
You should, although it's not too late.
Not too late. No.
Stop by. I'll leave everything up for tomorrow. Yeah, just the Amherst Farmers Market. We're just, our ambition is not beyond where we live. So we're on our road, and we're at the Amherst Farmers Market Saturday mornings from 8 till 1:30, and that's it.
It sounds like you're thinking about season extension, like how to make your season go longer into the fall. Do you have other things that as you look to the future you're hoping to build on or expand?
We're not really looking to grow a whole lot bigger than we are. We would like to get better at using the land we have, obviously, and be able to produce more and do it with a little bit less work. And so one of the things that we are doing towards that end right now, we actually have a SARE grant, a Sustainable Agriculture grant, looking at, we're trying not to use a lot of plastic or petroleum products. All our tools are electric here. A lot of farms will cover the ground with plastic sheet to suppress weeds, because weeding is like half the work. And so we're trying out this paper mulch product that's supposed to do something similar, and looking at paper versus no paper beds to see if things grow better, if there's less weeding. And so far it's working for some crops, which is great. There's like onions, for instance, that works really well for us. So we have done a lot less weeding on our onions than we have in the past.
Why paper instead of straw or something like that?
We have a lot of grasses and other perennials that have these big roots, and they just power right up through the straw, but the paper is continuous, so they can't as easily power up through the paper. I think that's why people use those plastic sheets as well.
No holes for them to gain purchase through.
Right. Well, you're surprised, the hole you have to make for your plant, some of them find their way to it and come up. But
squatters find their way through.
At least you're only weeding right there and not.
Right. Can we see that? Is there a...
Sure.
Oh, wow, this is really neat.
Yeah.
This actually looks more like, it almost reminds me of like muslin, like the cloth, rather than paper, and almost looks like seed sheets that you can buy if you're doing sort of planned gardening at home.
Yeah, exactly. And it degrades. So by next...
You pull it up, or do you just
No,
leave it?
we just leave it. It adds carbon to the soil. By next spring, it'll mostly be gone. There'll maybe be little bits of it. And you can see right over there, that's the control. So there's no paper there. You can see the onions in it, but it's a little harder because there's an awful lot of weeds.
Yeah.
No, it's been good. And the thing is, a lot of us are really small. I mean, we're particularly really small, but a lot, even the big ones in the area are not big by national standards. So it's not, we're competing with Whole Foods. We're not really competing with each other as much, a little bit, but it's not like our neighbors that come to our farm stand are not going to, the next one a block down the road.
Yeah, and congratulations on this really vibrant farm here. It's lovely to be on a parcel that's getting used the way that it was originally intended. I can see the tip of the carrot right here.
It keeps going, actually.
Oh, whoa, really?
Through those woods, yep. The tip is another same distance beyond there. We had a couple of huge maple trees fall down back there, so a lot of our house is built from those maples, and we now are making cutting boards and tables and other stuff that we sometimes bring down to the farmer's market. Cool. So out of wood that came down in the tip of the carrot.
You have a planer?
I do.
You had a boat, you built a house, you have a planer? Wow, your life is somehow very magical.
I can't complain at all, yeah. Well, I do, but I can't.
You can find information about all of our local hero farms and businesses through CISA's website at buylocalfood.org. And thanks again to Claire Morneau of CISA and Ellie from Carrot Corner Farm for spending time with us. And now to be your truest self loudly and proudly on the streets of downtown Greenfield for Franklin County Pride, which happens this Saturday. You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM.
The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by Eastworks, a community of makers, artists, restaurants, and services located in the Mill District of East Hampton, where community happens. Learn more at eastworks.com. The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by Northeast Solar in Hatfield, offering personalized solar energy solutions and ongoing customer care, proudly serving communities throughout the Pioneer Valley. Northeast-solar.com.
In keeping with our Franklin County Pride tradition, we are having a conversation about Franklin County Pride outside at a place that is not Franklin County,
Yes.
which is really fun.
Well, yes, it means that you too can go to another county to enjoy yourself, perhaps at Pride itself.
Yeah.
Go to other towns' prides.
I love it. And it's showing our area's connectivity. We've often done this conversation with Franklin County Pride in Holyoke at Fame, but we're here at New City Brewery in East Hampton, where I'm drinking their Shackleton ESB. What are you having?
I am having the Martin. I really like the ESB.
I have hot dogs on the way. And we're here with some of the organizers of Franklin County Pride. What's your name?
I'm Fritz. I'm in charge of the entertainment.
Heather Mahoney, the president of Franklin County Pride.
Heather's purple mohawk is outstanding.
Yeah.
Just paint yourself a visual.
I am Tolja, and I'm in charge of sponsorships.
Tolja, this is the first time we've gotten to speak with you, and this is your first year with Franklin County Pride?
That's right. It's my first year, and I'm super excited.
Tell us.
Cool. What made you join Franklin County Pride?
Pressure.
Pressure is pressure is a powerful tool.
Well, Heather roped me into volunteering last year, and I had a whale of a time, so I couldn't.
Because it was so wet. A literal whale showed up at the energy park.
It was very wet last year.
Yeah.
at Pride.
Huge splash, though.
Yeah. And what did you do last year, and what made you say, hey, I want to step it up and get more involved in the leadership of this?
Last year, I hung up signs and said hello to people and directed them the right way, and this year, for some reason, I'm promoted to sponsorships. I guess I said hello really well.
So good at it.
Yeah. Sponsorships are an important part of any event, and then when you think about Pride events, there have been phases of this where there'll be I would never touch a Pride event with a 10-foot pole because it's going to send a certain stigma. Then there's a period of time where it's I'm rainbow washing my business that has some problems when it comes to the queer community, and I want to step up with Pride. How does it work on a local level, or what have you observed in your first year doing this for sponsorships? Anything?
Noticed a lot. People are reluctant at this time. Purses are pinched and the economy is not doing great, but through it, people are still coming out to support Franklin County. So all of the businesses that we have reached out to have been contributing whatever they can. So they can be sparkle sponsors. We have some rainbow sponsors, which go upwards of $2,500. So it's been really nice to, get that money and get that support from local businesses.
Are any of those businesses also participating in the parade, or do you kind of keep that separate?
No, they are excited to join the parade. A lot of them do reach out and say, we would like to march. Can we have a table? How can we be more involved? So it's been really nice to see that support.
Franklin County Pride is happening Saturday, June 13th, all throughout Greenfield and beyond. There are things that happen in other parts of Franklin County that are at least aligned with the Pride festivities on the 13th. What are some of those?
Well, the Garden Cinema is going to produce Rocky Horror. They're doing 2 productions on the night of the 13th, correct?
That's my hot dogs.
Oh, hot dogs are ready.
Thank you.
All right. Heather, what else is going on?
We may have a business in Turner's that may be doing brunch on Sunday. But really this year, we do have a lot of it right in Greenfield.
So tell us some of the other exciting new developments in this year's Pride. What's happening this year that hasn't happened in years past? Maybe Heather first, before we get into more of the entertainment things.
I would have to say that Miles Street is happening again, closing down Miles Street, which has been a great asset to us. This will be our 3rd year doing it.
Which is right near the Energy Park.
Yep,
it's the home of the old Mesa Verde. And now what is it called? Tres Amigos?
Los Tres Hermanos.
Oh, Hermanos. Yeah, Three Amigos is the
This is the
Martin
film with
Short
Martin
movie.
Short.
Yeah.
Chevy Chase and Steve Martin.
I have to watch that again. I haven't seen if it holds up or not. I bet you it's problematic.
Probably not.
So together we're the Three Amigos.
So Miles Street is a street that leads down to Energy Park, and we close that off, and we have entertainment, and we have more vendors, and we have, as Tolja was saying, businesses that are doing some things, as well as Main Street Bar and Grill is having a Pride menu for drinks. Ice Cream Alley is doing their flight of ice cream again for Pride. We're just having lots of things happening.
Ice Cream Alley probably has rainbow sprinkles too,
They
but
do.
that's every day.
That's part of their Pride flight.
Yes, but it is free on Pride Day.
Oh, there we go. Perfect.
The sprinkles.
Yeah.
I don't know what I missed.
Oh, nothing. Just a little bit about some of the other things going on. Should we talk about entertainment, Fritz? That's your bailiwick.
Bailiwick, yes.
Your wheelhouse.
We've got so many exciting performers. We have Kristen Ford, who is a native here at of Greenfield, and she is now in California. She was a PPPA and IMA student, and she is now touring internationally. She has been signed on with the Righteous Babe label, and she is coming back.
Which is Ani DeFranco's record
Ani
label.
DeFranco.
Ani's a big fan of Kristen. It's been amazing to get to watch this part of her career happen.
Yeah, so anyway, she's very excited about that, but she's coming back to play with us, so it's very exciting. We have Inde. Is that the... Inde, excuse me, Inde. They are awesome. They came and played with us before last year, and this year they are bringing Ujima, which is a wonderful choir that the late Evelyn Harris had created. And so Inde is going to bring them to perform with them. Paris, who some of you, if you went to last year's Springfield Jazz Festival, you might have seen Paris there. They are a combination of jazz, funk, and soul artists, and they have a real theatrical flair, and they will be in our parade. They'll be right behind the beginning of the parade with their wonderful train that they wear. We have a really fun artist from New York, a New York-based singer-songwriter named Garen Benfield. They have put out 5 full albums, and they've toured nationally for about 26 years, and they are known particularly for their Matthew Shepard tribute for the Laramie Project, that they've produced a song for that.
And we know Greenfield Community College just did a production of the Laramie Project a month or so ago. So
yeah, there you go. We have another really exciting person that is going to be new to our lineup, Rocky Snyder, who is a Brooklyn-based, dynamic, must-see performer who performs with pop and hip-hop, and they have a breakout single called Broxland that was played at the 2023 Grammys, so they are definitely a come must-see performer. Star Lane Sox, Olivia Nyad is leading this one up, and they are bringing in a duo. It's gonna be a duo production. And they have played for us before. You probably remember their really dynamic guitar playing. They're really wonderful. A mix of indie rock and punk and covers with a social justice message. Our 2 wonderful drag queens that we have this year, Miss October Melee, who you will, yes, she is the standard for what we put on. And they are a magnetic force of glam, grit, and unapologetic joy. If you've been to Franklin County Pride before, you will remember seeing them there. They have electrifying stage presence.
And they do their act on the grass, and it's amazing because they're doing splits and all kinds of things on the grass at Energy Park. You have to come see it.
Oh yeah, last year in the wet and in the wet and in heels.
Those things stick right into the mud.
Yeah.
That can't be good. It can't be easy.
Yeah, but she doesn't turn down any of her performance for the weather, which is like astounding.
But the weather is going to be better this year.
It will be.
I'm willing it into existence.
Yes, it's going to be sunny.
And to the credit of the people of Greenfield who came out to Pride, like people stayed out in Energy Park in the rain with their umbrellas and their raincoats to like be there and support and participate.
Also, you'll never see Khalees dress more like how I normally dress than Khalees dressed as MC for Pride.
I need a new outfit for this year.
Oh,
I've worn that one two times.
We can talk.
And I need a new outfit.
Franklin County Pride on Saturday, June 13th. Any other fun, interesting things happening this year that people should expect?
Well, yeah, I mean, the parade is always wonderful, and we have we've got 60 plus groups join this year so far. I mean, 12 of which are school groups, and then we got 45 plus vendors and artists and community health and support organizations, And then on the Miles Street, we have, there's like street performances that happen there, but there's also like free face painting. There's Z the Mime is going to be there doing portraitures and poetry. And we've got, I guess, hair coloring, right?
Hair coloring.
You don't need that, Heather. Your hair is so vibrantly purple. I can't get. I almost don't want to look at anything other. It's like a tractor beam.
Yeah.
That's all I want to do is look at your hair.
And the person doing the hair actually is my hairdresser.
Oh. So if you want vibrant purple hair like this,
The proof is in this pudding.
Yeah.
Like, just like if you need hair color on the fly, like this is a good place to do it.
The purple punk pudding of
So
Heather's.
she's doing hair, not tinting, tinsel. Some hair tinting with like some chalk or something like that. But go see her. She's going to be next to the face painting.
Okay.
And also on June 11th.
What's her name so that I can tell my wife, who also loves to dye her hair purple?
Her name is Marge Sawyer. Her salon is Euphora Salon on Chapman Street.
Okay. Nice.
Also,
There's a plug. There you go.
The Garden is also doing the movie this year. Besides Rocky Horror, they're doing the movie on the 11th this year, which is. Why did I just blank?
Birdcage.
The Birdcage. Yeah. They're showing this year.
So we talked a little bit about like some of the difficulties with sponsorship in this like terrible economy that is, which definitely is a factor. But like there are political machinations that are moving nationwide. Has that made any of the organizing for Franklin County Pride difficult this year? Because that trickles down too.
Maybe you first.
It's been, it hasn't been rough, but we've definitely seen the strains. A lot of the nonprofits are willing to donate a little less. Some of the organizations that we've been working with are, of course, strained in terms of staff, so not a lot of people can be vendors. But it's been really nice to at least see the sentiments and the dollar amounts where they can provide some. So it's been...
not like, we've seen some of the backlash for like big institutions like Smith College that are taking a stand and then getting a crackdown on the from the federal government, not seeing that on the local level as much?
Sometimes we see it. So we use grants. For example, we have a grant from Bay State, and we are now using that to support local artists who are trans and who are, also providing resources to the people for healthcare because there are gaps that need to be filled.
Mm-hmm.
We are still concerned about it, and we do address it from a safety perspective behind the scene and really try and come up with a strong safety plan. And we have the safety monitors that will be there. Roar will also be there.
I gotta give a shout out to our own Chris Schwantner, who's part of that. Did you know that?
No, but that tracks for Chris.
Some guy who works in our building is part of that organization, and we didn't know about it.
But like it tracks because like he's also been on the board for Girl Scouts for decades. So like
talk about solid representation.
Yes.
Based on the economy too. Usually I go and I get donations of food for the green room, for the performers, because we want to feed them. They're there all day usually, and this year and a little bit last year too, there's a little bit less that are coming our way, and so we're having to put out some more money to actually provide food, as far as getting, as opposed to getting donations. So. Anyway, if there's any other businesses out there that want to donate food for the green room for the performers, I'd be happy to talk to you.
I have lived now in Franklin County for longer than I lived in the town that I grew up in, and I have watched Franklin County change from a place that had a reputation of being very old school in their views and beliefs, very conservative in their views towards queer people, to seeing so many rainbow prisms open up across all the businesses and streets, and the birth of Franklin County Pride is a huge part of that. Have you experienced that over these years too, and I'm assuming it continues?
Absolutely. We're seeing more and more queer folks moving to Greenfield. It feels, it's affordable for one, and it feels supportive there. We're also finding businesses that maybe might not have hung a pride flag in their window in the past are doing it now.
Yeah.
And so we're curious. There's a couple new businesses in town. We're kind of curious. We've approached them and said, hey, just so you know, we're happening on this particular day, and curious to see, if they too will put in a pride flag on their window for that day. It only can benefit them because they will get. I've heard from a number of different businesses that it is one of the highest revenue day of the year for them is Pride Day.
Wow.
In Franklin County, and we're in Greenfield, I should say.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
When you see a pride flag in a window like that, as queer folk, what does that mean to you? Does it still mean something to you?
It means it's a safe place to go, that they're supportive, and it's a place you want to do your business. Give them your business.
For sure. If I see a pride flag anywhere, it makes any anxiety I have go down, and I'm just like, okay, I'll go in here just for that.
And this year is going to get much easier because one of the gifts people get for sponsoring us is a window decal with our Pride logo from this year and the theme from this year, and saying that they're a proud sponsor. So they get to show off.
What is the
We
theme?
talked about,
What is the theme this year?
The theme for this year is Still We Rise, or Together We Rise, sorry. The theme for this year is Together We Rise, and we decided on that together and came up with the logo for this year.
Cool.
Tolja
Came up with the amazing logo. We had a number of contributions, and Tolja's like, and we were like, oh, we'd like maybe a little this or a little that, and Tolja's like, oh, let me put something together, and she came up with an amazing logo this year.
Never underestimate the power of having somebody good at graphic design on your team.
Yeah, I think
Never.
She learned it on the spot. She'd had this program on a computer. She had never used it, and she figured out how to use it. Just
hidden talents.
I feel weird because I'm also going to be there doing things and trying very hard not choke on words like I usually do. So
They picked you as the MC for a reason, Khalees. So,
we
yeah.
love you.
because it's fun to watch me flail.
I bet it's for reasons other than that. That's just an added bonus.
And there's a bunch of other activities happening as a part of Franklin County Pride. As we mentioned with those organizers, Fritz, Heather, and Tolja, there's a drag makeup workshop happening tomorrow at the Greenfield Public Library. The Birdcage is also showing tomorrow at Greenfield Garden Cinemas. There's going to be karaoke. And then, of course, on Saturday itself, the parade and all of the entertainment where, yes, you will see me probably get tangled up in my tongue somewhere on stage, but with a bunch of other performers who are way more talented than I am. So come to Greenfield and hang out and support the community. On the next Fabulous 413, we'll delve into the pages of Sophie Sambo's new short story collection, People Who Live Alone Talk Too Much, which won the 2024 prize for immigrant writing and which just came out from Restless Books in Amherst. We'll also meet director Tanisha Arena of Rise for Social Justice Springfield to hear more about their upcoming Juneteenth celebrations. And as it is Pride Month, word nerd Emily Brewster looks into our lexicographical past to see the evolutions of the words gay and queer. I'm Khalees Smith. We'll talk to you tomorrow on the Fabulous 413.